this video is going to be on multiplying and dividing integers. Now we've been working with integers, and as we know, they are positive and negative whole numbers. We've been adding them, and when we add them, if the signs are the same, you keep the sign. If they're different, you find the difference, and then take the sign of the number with the larger absolute value. Subtracting, we just learned yesterday. And when you're subtracting integers, most of you have learned the saying same, change, opposite. And really, we don't subtract, we add the opposite. So now we're going to move on to multiplying and dividing. Now you don't think you know how to do this, or you may not think you remember, but you do. You have been multiplying when you add, because multiplication is just expanded addition or repeated addition. And subtracting is just repeated division. Now I'm going to show that to you really quick. Some of you are visual. So if I have -4 plus -4 plus -4, would you agree that that's the same thing as -4 times 3? Hopefully, because it is. -4 times 3 is the same thing as -4 3 times. Now -4 plus -4 plus -4. If we'll view this as holes in the sand, we have 4 holes and another 4 holes and another 4 holes. So we don't fill any of our holes. We just have a total of 12 holes in the sand, or 12 negatives. Okay? The signs are all the same, so you keep the sign. So we could conclude that -4 times 3 would be -12. So you didn't think you're multiplying, but you actually have been. So hopefully this is going to kind of help you as we go through. I'm going to teach you guys the rules, but this is the reason why we do the rules that we do. I don't know where my paper is. Alright, so now I'm going to teach you that math has emotions. Now this may seem weird, but I promise you this might help you when learning how to multiply and divide integers. So take a look. The first thing is we're going to learn about when the signs are the same. Okay? When the signs are the same, if they're both happy and positive, we think of as happy. So a happy equals a positive. And say you are really excited about something, you're really happy about the day, and you go and talk to your other friend who's really happy as well. Well, a happy person talks to a happy person, they're both going to leave feeling very happy. So we say when we're multiplying a positive times a positive, it stays positive. Or when we're dividing a positive and a positive, it stays positive. Now you've been doing that since you learned how to multiply and divide. 2 positive numbers are going to give you a positive number. So 2 examples. 16 divided by 4 is just 4. And 12 times 3 is just going to give you a positive 36. Okay, now you've been doing those problems, not a big deal. But then we get to sad. And a sad face is going to equal a negative. Okay? Now have you ever been having a bad day, and you go and you talk to your friend who's also having a bad day, and you both start talking about why you're having a bad day. And talking about it makes you actually feel better. So we're going to say a sad person talks to a sad person, and comforting each other, they both end up happy. So a negative times a negative actually gives you a positive. And to show that visually, if this helps you, we're going to say a negative and a negative, they come together and make a positive. Okay? So a negative times negative is a positive, and a negative divided by a negative is a positive. Because if you're sad and you talk to somebody else who's sad, you comfort each other and you become happy and positive. So we can do an example. -12 divided by -3 gives you a positive 4. -4 times -5 gives you a positive 20. Okay? So that's when the signs are both positive, they're going to end up positive. When the signs are both negative, they're going to also end up positive. So there's only one way you can get a negative. Hopefully you see that coming up. When the signs are different. When the signs are different, and if math had emotions for this, say you're really happy and you talk to someone who's just down and out. They're really negative. most of the time their negativity rubs off on you and you become sad or you become negative. So that's what's happening here with our math emotions. A happy person talks to a sad person and they both walk away feeling pretty gloomy. They both walk away feeling pretty sad. So a positive times a negative gives you a negative. And that's the same thing that we were doing with our repeated addition. Okay? So if we have this example here, 9 divided by negative 3. Well, that's the same thing as saying 9 divided by negative 3. It's going to end up being negative. The signs are different. Negative 6 times 5 is the same thing as negative 6 plus negative 6 plus negative 6 plus negative 6 plus negative 6. We do this 5 times because it's multiplying by 5. So if we have 6 holes, 6 holes, 6 holes, 6 holes, and 6 holes, we just have a bunch of holes in the sand. We're not filling any of our holes with piles. So we end up with a negative 30. Okay? Or if you're $6 in debt, you borrow another 6, then another 6, then another 6, then another 6. Not very good economic status here for you, but you're going to just keep borrowing money, keep getting more and more into the negative. So you have negative 30. Okay? So the same rule applies here. A positive and a negative give you a negative. When the signs are different, they're negative. And 9 divided by 3 is just 3. Okay. So now we know the signs are the same. It's going to be positive. If the signs are different, it's going to be negative. That's a little bit simpler than when we're adding and subtracting. Less rules. Well, it can get a little bit complicated if you have more than just 2 numbers. And so here is an example. Here are your checking for understanding problems. Do these with me. If you'd like to pause the video and try them on your own, then press play and we'll go over them together. So 15 divided by 3. When the signs are different, they're going to be negative. So we end up with a negative 5. For the second checking for understanding problem, 12 times negative 5 divided by negative 6. We have 3 numbers here. Follow order of operations and just do them in order. So let's start here. We multiply and divide left to right. So negative 12 divided by negative 5. Oh, I didn't give a very good example from it. Oh, multiply. Negative 12 times negative 5. A negative times a negative gives you a positive. When the signs are the same, it ends up positive. Happy person and a happy person, they both end up happy. Oh, these are sad. Sad person and sad person comfort each other and they end up happy. So 12 times 5 gives us a positive 60. Okay? Negative times a negative is a positive. Well, now I still have dividing by negative 6. Now I have the different sign, so my answer is going to be negative. 60 divided by negative 6, 60 divided by 6 is negative 10. Okay? So the answer there would be negative